BlackRock CEO saying that $12 trillion will enter cryptos like blockchain and XRP, and that the new money isn't traditional, it's digital. And this comes as RealFi is set to unlock $228 trillion market, which is the real estate market, onto the XRP ledger, and it will burn 500,000 worth of real tokens. And this is huge because this could make the real token, which is going to be the real estate token on the XRP ledger, go from 3 cents to $989.
So hopefully for the meantime, we still have paper currency to use. We will be using, and they will implement the Ripple RLUSD. It is now an approved stablecoin. They will use the blockchain XRP. There's even chatter that XRP, as well as HBAR and maybe even XLM, could be part of strategic reserves.
Wow.
Where the United States will own blocks, maybe 1 billion or more chunks of those, knowing their vital nature to the infrastructure of the financial system as we go tokenization.
As you guys saw in the intro, Representative French Hill says that blockchain isn't disruptive tech, it's the natural next step. And this is what we've been talking about over at Altcoin Pro University. This is why you should know the actual fundamental knowledge of what blockchain is, not just you buy some coins and they go up, or sometimes they go down. Obviously, we've all been through bear markets now for the most part. Michael Saylor acknowledges FundStrat Tom Lee's call for a $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. They're all north of 150,000. The more companies embrace it, the higher it goes. You can't make any more of it.
So we had Tom Lee on the broadcast. I don't know if you saw this earlier today. And he effectively said Bitcoin at $111,000 is headed to $200,000 effectively by Christmas. What do you think of that?
Well, most of the equity analysts that follow our stock have target prices for Bitcoin, and they're all north of 150. Bitcoin represents a digital transformation of the capital markets. And so the more people know about it, the more they get educated on it, the more companies embrace it, the higher it goes. You can't make any more of it.
Right. That may be all. But in terms of just what you're seeing in terms of flows and whatnot, that would get it to $200,000 by the end of the year.
Yeah, great flows from the ETFs. BlackRock is showing record numbers. Our companies raised $19 billion this year.
Right.
All of it went into Bitcoin. We just announced $217 million of Bitcoin purchases this morning before I walked onto this set here.
Wait, 217 million this
217 million, just slightly less than 2,000 Bitcoin. Our first buy, and we were the first public company to buy Bitcoin, we bought $250 million of Bitcoin, and that was like all the money we'd come up with in 30 years.
Yeah.
And this was just a short week, 4 days.
Okay, so can I ask you this? For those folks who are investing in MicroStrategy, or strategy, I should say, as opposed to Bitcoin, you are effectively a levered bet on Bitcoin. That's what this company has become.
That's
Fair?
correct.
Okay, so the question is, on the way up, it would be it's fabulous, right? Because everything becomes, multiplied. What happens on the way down?
Who cares about what happens on the way down? It's up only, right? No, just kidding. But really interesting. Michael Saylor kind of laid back and chill right now. Usually he's all hyper and doing his deep breathing. As you know, outside of the channel, I do real estate investing. So this is very positive news. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate records the biggest drop in a year. So as we were talking about with interest rates coming down, the federal funds rate, that doesn't actually affect directly the 30-year mortgage. What does directly affect it is the 10-year bond yield. So we're going to keep an eye on the bond yield, which is very important as well. But right now we are seeing a drop, and we have reached a super exciting level as far as mortgage rates, interest rates, but prices are still sky high. BlackRock to tokenize funds with real world assets and stock on the blockchain. And we do have some really positive news here. Kenny Nguyen with the great post, XRP spot ETFs update. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys all about. We've been waiting patiently. I know a lot of you guys know about this because you are a genius when it comes to crypto. And this is also why I give you guys the updates on the ETFs. I want to see you guys get hyped because right now it's the Bitcoin ETF and it's the Ethereum ETF. So XRP is coming. Solana is coming. A lot of other. So let's just take a look this week. Okay, this week. there's been $1.1 billion worth of inflows, ETFs, into Bitcoin. Imagine what's going to happen to the XRP price when $1 billion worth of inflows comes in to the XRP ETF. Now, you may be saying, oh, well, we'll never get $1 billion worth of inflows. Well, take a look at this. Ethereum, just a couple of weeks ago, had $1 billion worth of inflows. XRP can also get $1 billion worth of inflows. So unfortunately, we do have a little bit of bad news. On September 10th, we did find out Franklin Templeton's spot XRP ETF was delayed, and that's going to be delayed until November 14th. They may kick the can down the road again, but take a look at this one. Rex Osprey got approved without objection and will go live tomorrow, September 12th. The rest of the deadlines are 4+ weeks away. So let's take a look. Issuer, Grayscale. Theirs has been delayed until October 18th. 21 shares, October 19th. Bitwise, October 20th. Canary Capital, October 23rd. Wisdom Tree, October 24th. Franklin Templeton, October 25th. CoinShares, October 25th. So these all get approved at the end of October. So you're going into Halloween super stoked. October, November, December, a pump. What happened at the end of 2024? November, December, massive pump. So could we ultimately see a huge surge of liquidity into the crypto markets, driving that Bitcoin price to 200,000, driving that XRP price to $10? Let me know your price prediction down below. Where do you see XRP's price going once these ETFs are approved? More positive news as well, because DTCC lists Fidelity's Solana ETF, which is great positive news, and Canary's XRP ETF. So under that post, this guy here says, what the F does that mean for XRP? Well, this development could imply increased legitimacy and market stability for XRP, as suggested by the Bitcoinist.com analysis from September 10th, 2025, which notes that ETF approvals often lead to institutional buying and a structural floor price, supported by Polymarket data showing a 93% chance at the XRP ETF approval by the year end. And the great news is we're not talking about one ETF approval, we're talking about multiple. And speaking of ETFs, let's talk about the big giant elephant in the room. There was no mention of the BlackRock ETF yet, but that is a possibility coming for the future. BlackRock is exploring tokenized ETFs after Bitcoin fund success, as Wall Street giants tout tokenization as a game changer for finance. Bloomberg reported on Thursday that the company is considering tokenizing funds with exposure to real-world assets. Any such move, however, would need to navigate regulatory hurdles. Tokenizing these ETFs could potentially allow them to trade beyond standard market hours and be used as a collateral for decentralized finance applications. And as we take a look at this chart right here, there are now more ETFs than stocks. The black line is the number of United States listed stocks, companies, and the number of US listed ETFs is the gold line. BlackRock already manages the world's largest tokenized money market fund, which holds $2.2 billion in assets across Ethereum, Avalanche, Aptos, Polygon, and other blockchains. JPMorgan has called tokenization a significant leap for the $7 trillion money market fund industry, pointing to the initiative launched by Goldman Sachs and Bank of New York Mellon, which BlackRock will join at launch. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about billions and billions and trillions of dollars worth of inflows coming into the crypto market. The only question that we have now is not if, but when will these flows start to flow in? And if you remember back in May, we did talk about this, that the US banking lobby was especially wary of yield-bearing stablecoins amid concerns that they could disrupt traditional banking models. So all the talk about, oh, banks, we're not scared of crypto is BS. They are freaking losing their mind. They're actually having lobbyists trying to stop stablecoin legislation altogether, but that was actually passed. Notably, such tokens were excluded from the U.S. Genius Act, the first comprehensive legislation on stablecoin. In June, JPMorgan said tokenized money market funds will likely keep attracting capital to the industry while enhancing their appeal as collateral. This, she noted, could help preserve cash as an asset in the face of stablecoins' growing influence. All right, so let's take a look at the charts. XRP is surging up nicely. The new daily candle just kicked off. We have 23 hours left in that candle As you can see, price did surge back up right near our resistance zone that we've been talking about now. This is based off of our 3-day chart resistance line that we talked about on the video just 2 days ago. We pointed out that this level right here is where our candle bodies could not break to the upside and ultimately failed. So when we look at this chart right here, we have this ultimate high, right? This is our highest high that we had, the new all-time high, $3.66. We had a pullback. We could not get a new higher high. So we ended up having a lower high. Price came back down again, tried to surge up, another lower high. Then it came back down again. Now we're surging up. This is a very important level that we must break and then break to the upside to these next previous higher high bodied candle close, $3.31. So we need to break above this one right here, which is at $3.07, continue our momentum to the upside and break 332. Now, as we've been talking about on our weekly charts, long-term momentum, very bullish. Short-term momentum has been having this slight pullback, but we may see an immediate turnaround back to the upside, a ricochet, a bounce off of this 75 level, and then continue the surge to the upside. Our 3-day chart has continued to remain bullish as well, above the red line here, right? We've remained green. And this was what I was most excited about here, guys. Take a look at this. If this momentum continues, which it looks like it's going to, our short-term and mid-term momentum have reset to zero. Our short-term momentum has now officially turned green, and it is starting to head to the upside. If we finish this candle out 23 hours and 6 minutes to the upside,